terms of her angles here from the side. I think a heifer, you step in behind her, I'd like to see her a little wider pinned and stouter in terms of her muscle pattern, but still a really nice project for that young man. There's no doubt the young man's heifer here in second is chock full of width and muscle. I appreciate that about her. We just got to make her a little more comfortable as she goes off of both ends of her skeleton, but still a very nice heifer. Congratulations to both of them.
And placings in your first class of Red Angus females. First place goes to entry number 2, Shady's Peaches L81, exhibited by Jace Beatty of Crossville, Tennessee. And second place in that class goes to entry number 1, SGCC 800F Lacey 315, exhibited by Daniel Johnson of Winchester, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now entering the ring will be Class 2 April heifer calves. These heifers' date of birth range from April 15th through April 2nd of 2023. Again, entering the ring now is class number 2 in your Red Angus female show.
Really a nice pair in the second class of Red Angus females. I think there's some give and take, and I wouldn't argue with you either way. I just like the skeleton on this young lady's heifer a little better. I think she's a little more comfortable in the angle to her shoulder and takes a little nicer stride out of her front end. Just a beautiful heifer here from the side, too, when she gets her set up in terms of balance. I think she's really uniform in terms of her underline. You step in behind her, and she's got plenty of width and muscle, and does that with a big open rib cage. She's not the longest necked or the prettiest there through her chest and her throat. I would like to change that ever so slightly, but I think it kind of fits her, and I think that's just a really nice heifer to win this class. There's no doubt the young man's heifer in second is a little longer from her shoulder forward, and I appreciate that about that heifer. I think she's really neat in terms of the shape of her head. Heifer, he gets her set up here from the side. She's long and level from hooks to pins. We just set her in motion. I'd like to get her within her skeleton, especially on her front too a little bit, but I do like the extra performance and rib shape she offers. And then we round out the class with really a bold-bodied heifer that's chock full of muscle. I like that about her. She just comes in a little rounder package. It doesn't tie everything together quite as nice as them two in front of her, but still a very nice heifer. Young man does an awesome job showing her. Congratulations to that trio.
Interesting class here over on our Limmy side. I think the female that starts the class, I think one does so when we get these things stopped and we just study the silhouette and the outline and the parts and pieces that she has. I just like so many things about this one, the look that she has, the softness that she has, the set to that rear wheel and the construction of it. Sure, if I was to change this one when we ask her to go, she's not absolutely perfect out of that shoulder up front. I'd like to tuck her in there a little bit better, just see her handle that part of her body a little bit better in motion. But I think everything else about her, the look that she has, the balance that she has, is so good. We can't deny her. Our female in second here is one that really hit me hard once she come in the ring. I'll be honest, if I'm going to question this female, does she have enough gas in the tank to get there at the end of the day? She's definitely a little smaller in her stature, but I love the way she comes out of her shoulder, back into her body cavity, the way she opens up, the bone work that she has about her, the foot shape and size that she has underneath her. It's very good. A female that probably, again, doesn't just absolutely blow me away when we set them in motion, but I think she's more than sound enough to go along with that female in front of her. Our female in third here, one that offers a shot more gas, a shot more performance. We love the added rib shape and softness that this one has. She gets a little bit plainer and flatter about that hip. We'd like to set her up there, make her a little truer, a little squarer, and maybe we'd like to give this one just a few more bells and whistles to tie in with the two heifers above her, but a good functional type of a female there in third. Our female in fourth, one that's as long as a freight train, but along with that struggles to hold some things together quite as well. She doesn't balance up nose to tail. She gets a little deeper in her chest compared to the females in front of her. But once again, female with added bone work in her. We appreciate that about her, the power that she has. And here's a female, the exact opposite. If we're going to switch gears here, a female that is very feminine in her overall makeup, a female that does need a shot more bone and foot underneath of her, a little more power in her. She wants to get up in her top, but we love the look and design and femininity of that heifer coming out next. And our female to round out the class, an extremely high quality one. One, if you want to turn out and make a cow, maybe does so and has the least amount of change to her, but one that gets a little softer in her loin here for us today, one that gets a little shorter, a little more jammed up, and a little plainer about that head and neck. But a very good class there as we move along through our fall division.
And placings for class number 8 over in your limousine show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 41, TASF Keep It Classy 681K, exhibited by Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. And second place goes into number 44, KLCS Miss Kiss and Tell, exhibited by Keely Campbell Suits of Danielsville, Georgia. And third place goes to entry number 45, HB Fancy 278, exhibited by Ashland Pop of For Sales, Kentucky. Fourth place goes to entry number 42, KLCS MK Knockout Rose, exhibited by Keaton Wade Suits of Danielsville, Georgia. And fifth place goes to entry number 40, Wilson's Camella 22K, exhibited by Amanda Pruvis of For Sales, Kentucky. And sixth place goes to entry number 43, WWST Charisma 971 K, exhibited by Cora Burns of Macy, Indiana. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring over in your limousine side is Division II Limousine Champion. Again, we will be selecting your Division II Limousine Champion female. And placings in class number 2 over in your Red Angus female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 3, SGCC 354A Liberty 307, exhibited by Haley Ann Johnson of Winchester, Kentucky. And third place goes to entry number 5, RFCC Miss Annie 400L, exhibited by Van Richardson of Maynardville, Tennessee. Second place goes to entry number 6, Wood Miss Curba 3032L, exhibited by Chase Wood of Big Cabin, Oklahoma. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now currently in the ring is Class 3 March Heifers over in your Red Angus female show. Again, now in the ring is Class 3 March Heifers. These heifers' date of birth range from March 30th through March 2nd of 2023.
Really another nice trio in this class up here on the top end. Young lady's darker colored female I used to win. I just think from a quality and balance standpoint does so. You get up here on the profile and I think her neck shoots up high and attractive out of the top of her shoulder. She opens up into a big and bold rib cage. Step in behind her, she's got plenty of width and power to her. You study her down at the ground. She's a big-footed, big-boned female. With a little of that extra bone, she comes with maybe a little bit extra joint and shoulder. I'd like to clean that up ever so slightly, but still very a high-quality female to start this class. Young ladies heifers here in seconds, not wanting to show off the best, but you want to talk about one that's very attractive through her front 1/3, big and bold in terms of her center rib cage. I like them things about her. I think she's adequate in terms of her structure. Where I'd like to change hers in her underline, clean her navel up some, and then just fill her in her forerib and tidy her up in terms of her shoulder a little bit, but still really an intriguing heifer the young lady's doing an awesome job with. Really a big outlined heifer that comes next, one that's huge in terms of her center rib cage, really mature in terms of her maturity for this class. I like some things about her, but we need to get her in motion and let her go a little nicer off of both ends of her skeleton. She wants to tuck under herself when she set in motion on her rear too, but a heifer you do appreciate her extra length and levelness from hooks to pins. Young man's got a little greener heifer here that comes in fourth, one that is very attractive there through her front 1/3. I like the condition he has in there. That he brings her to town right now, a heifer that I just think needs some more time and maturity to compete with them ones in front of her. We could stouten her up at the ground a little bit, maybe lengthen her out from hooks to pins ever so slightly to compete with them ones in front of her, but really a nice heifer the young man's got that's going to do nothing but get better with time. Then we round out the class with a couple of heifers that got some rib and some muscle to them. We just need to clean them up in terms of their front 1/3, maybe make them a little nicer balance as you study them from the side. Free them up off of both ends of their skeleton ever so slightly. But really a nice class, a good pair of heifers on top. Congratulations.
Well, over here on our Lemmy side, we look through our fall division. I'm extremely happy with the quality that we have out here. I'm extremely happy with the type and kind. Once again, we've built these cattle from the ground up. We've worried about structure first and had everything else follow it. And I think as we look down this lineup in both our first and second place, that's of utmost importance. I think we've got cattle out here that have that structure and still have some substance to them, still have look and style and class about them. For me, there's one out here that hits me really hard. We'll select her your champion. Then I may take one more look find a reserve. It gets a little closer in those regards. But let's give them all a big round of applause. Been a great division to work through here in our falls.
And your Champion 2 division goes to entry number 38, TJFR Cadillac ET, exhibited by Ty J. Fred of Fairbury, Illinois. Congratulations. And placings in class number 3 over in your Red Angus show are as followed. First place goes entry number 11, Lazy JB Prime 342, exhibited by Madison Fisher of Homestead, Texas. And second place goes entry number 8, Shady's Laney L28, exhibited by Amelia Beatty of Crossville, Tennessee. Third place goes to entry number 10, 4NR Dancing Queen 3301, exhibited by Olivia Naylor of Connorsville, Indiana. Fourth place goes to entry number 7, SRG Fanny 3049, exhibited by Ty Van Velt of Hedrick, Iowa. Fifth place goes to entry number 13, STFC Marta 0809L, exhibited by Maybe Ender of Jackson, Missouri. And sixth place goes to entry number 14, exhibited by Ethan Lawnmower of Salem, Indiana.
As we get ready to pick our first division in the Red Angus show, I think we had 3 really nice classes of heifer calves here, and I think each one of these class winners got some advantages. The young man out of the first class, as we talked, she won that class because she's so comfortable in terms of her skeleton, really gets out and goes with some freedom and flex off of both ends. I like them things about her, really a bold-bodied female. As we talked in class, you step in behind her, you'd like to give her a little more genuine width and muscle in terms of her pin set and her muscle pattern down there in her quarter and stifle, but really a nice, easy-moving heifer is a nice project for that young man. The young lady that won the second class, as we talked about, just from a balance standpoint, she kind of combines some width and muscle and look and balance. I like them things about her, and you get her out here, and I think she's one that's in contention for them reasons. She stands on an adequate amount of foot and bone, and like I said in class, just balances up, everything kind of fits. We would like to tidy her up ever so slightly through her throat and her chest, but I think a heifer that's got some good to her, I think you study her coming and going, she's got some skeletal width and still does it in a good sound package. And then the heifer out of the third class, probably the one that's the most captivating here from the side, as I talked in class, really attractive there through her front 1/3. Young lady gets her pulled together here from the side and gives you a beautiful silhouette. I like them things about her. She's really balanced in terms of her underline. I think she's really good from hooks to pins. And heifer, when we put her in motion, we could free her up ever so slightly. She's wanting to fight the halter a little bit to the day. But I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt. That's the one I like the best. Congratulations. She's going to win this division.
There's a single entry heifer here in our Junes on the Lemmy side, one that's extremely long spined, one that holds herself together really good, one that's very feminine, very long necked. I love the shape that this one has coming out of her spine when we get in right behind her. This one's got some natural power, some natural punch to her, stands down on good foot, good bone work, and moves extremely comfortable when we ask her to go as well. Good heifer here in our June class.
And over in your Red Angus side of the show, your spring calf champion goes to entry number 11, Lazy JB Prime 342, exhibited by Madison Fisher of Hempstead, Texas. Congratulations. And your reserve spring heifer calf champion goes to entry number 3. Goes to entry number 5. Goes to entry number 3, SGCC 354A, Liberty 307, exhibited by Haley Ann Johnson of Winchester, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is Class 4 February heifer calves in your Red Angus female show. And over in your limousine side, your Division II Reserve Champion goes to entry number 31, ELCX Kesha 192, exhibited by Delilah Labor of Hillsboro, Ohio. Congratulations. And first place in class number 9 goes to entry number 47, Ratliff Cadence 269K, exhibited by Kara Brady Cummins of Hollis, Oklahoma. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Class 10 Limousine Females. Again, now in the ring is Class 10 Limousine Females.
So we get into some older heifer calves here. We got a really nice heifer to win this class. She's as nice as we've seen so far today. I know she's not the biggest, but that heifer is loaded with quality. You study her skeleton, I think she's near ideal in terms of the angles. And consequently, you set her in motion and she just gets around and goes, looks just as good on the move as she does standing still. Really unique in terms of how neat she is up front. Still stepping behind her, and she's got some pin width and some muscle to her. Really bold and round in terms of her rib cage. I know she's not the biggest heifer that we've seen, but I think that heifer is loaded with quality. Congratulations to that young lady. The heifer in second is a big outline, high-performing heifer. I appreciate them things about her. She's a big bone, big-footed female. It's chock full of rib and muscle, but she just doesn't tie everything together quite as nice as that one that wins this class. I'd like to relax her in the center of her spine, fix her there in behind her shoulders ever so slightly, but still you like the added performance and length that she offers. I think there's some give and take between 3 and 4. I just like the heifer in third. I thought she was a little more comfortable in terms of her skeleton. She's a little nicer over the top, over her back and through her loin. A heifer that if you were going to change her, maybe compete with them two in front of her, I'd like to stouten her up in terms of her bone work and foot, maybe soften her in terms of her rear pastern. I do like how feminine she is through her front 1/3, and I think that's another advantage she has. The young man's heifer. There's no doubt the young man's heifer that rounds out the class is a big-bodied, easy-doing female, going to make a nice low-maintenance cow for that young man. Just for a show heifer, I'd like to tidy her up front, and as we talked about, just relax her in terms of her spine ever so slightly. But congratulations, really a nice class winner in that class.
We get into the maze over here, and we've really turned up the heat. I think these top three heifers particularly, I mean, just a world of quality in these. To me, the heifer I chose to start with, I think the longer we have these heifers out here, I think this is the one I just never get a bad look from. I never see anything about this one that turns me away from her, whether she's standing there parked, set up the way she is, or whether she's in motion. She's just so comfortable all the time, so well put together. And I think at the end of the day, when we put these things on the wash rack, we break them down, I think she's still the one that's just most natural and that I like the most in terms of her combination of power and balance and femininity and still having that dimension and that rib shape to her. I love that female to start the class with. Here's one ultra good necked coming out in second. One that's a little bit shorter coupled, a little bit shorter in her body, a little shorter hipped. Once again, though, one that's extremely soft-sided. You love the rib shape she has in her. The young lady gets her parked and set up. She gives you a heck of a good look. You got to find this one. We just like to see her with a little more length of spine to go along with the heifer up front, but extremely high quality. Speaking of high quality, our female here in third coming around the corner most days, this one's going to expect to win her division, if not more. And when she's moving is probably when I like this heifer the best. I think this female's a little further along in terms of her condition than I like to have them. For Mays at this stage in the game, I'd like to see her a little bit fresher. I think when the young lady gets her parked is probably where I start to pick on her. She wants to get a little bit softer down her spine. She just wants to become a little more three-piece than what I like, but I like the added power. I like the added substance in this one, but I think all those things come together in terms of how she becomes a little piecier, especially when we get her stopped and set up. Taking nothing away from our female here in fourth or our one in fifth. Here's a female coming out, got a little more growth to her. I appreciate that about her, the added performance there. She's extremely fresh in her condition. I definitely like the condition the young man has her in, presented very up-headed, ties in extremely well in her next shoulder, just gets out-powered by some of the heifers above her, but I think that's an extremely high-quality, maternally built female coming out next there. And our young lady in fifth, I mean, I beat on the heifer earlier for being a little bit shorter body. This one's extremely long spine, extremely long hip. She's good out of her hip. She just maybe doesn't tie in as well through her loin and down her top. She wants to get just a little bit rougher. And yet again, when we compare the bells and whistles of the ones that start at the top of the class, she maybe just doesn't have that compared to some of them. Gets just a little bit plainer about her design, but I think one that's going to go on and make an excellent cow for the young lady down the road.
Two heifers that are really different in their type. I just think the longevity of this heifer I used to win the class, this young lady's got a heifer that's really flexible off of both ends of her skeleton, really feminine, the way her neck ties into her shoulder. I think she's dead level from the top of her shoulder clear back to her tail head and her pin set. A heifer that you step in behind her, I wish she did have just a little bit more true, genuine width and muscle to her. She's not as big boned as the heifer behind her, but I do think she's adequate. Like I said, just from a longevity standpoint, I think her skeleton's really, really good. There's no doubt this heifer here in second is chucked full of width and power, and I appreciate them things about her. And it starts at the ground. She's a big-footed, big-boned female. Like I said, it's really wide-bodied. I like them things about her. My trouble with her is when we set her in motion, she wants to get outside of her skeleton. I want to make her a little more comfortable, especially off her rear pasterns. And then I think she can compete with the heifer that wins the class. But still a heifer you appreciate because she's got some really big pieces. Congratulations to both of them young ladies.
And over in your Red Angus side, placings for Class 4 are as followed. First place goes to entry number 16, T-Bar S Mojo 125L, exhibited by Madison Fisher of Hempstead, Texas. And second place goes to entry number 17, Cedar Ridge Lust 301L, exhibited by Madeline Ethington of Danville, Kentucky. Third place goes to entry number 19, 3 Aces Fauna 2043, exhibited by Abby Newberry of Cedar Hill, Tennessee. Fourth place goes to entry number 20, RFCC Miss Annie 200L, exhibited by Max Richardson of Maynardville, Tennessee. Congratulations to those exhibitors. And placings in class number 5 Red Angus are as followed. First place goes to entry number 21, FFG Poti 3001, exhibited by Leah Beatty of Hope, Indiana. And second place in that class goes entry number 28, 3CW Oklahoma Smoke Show, exhibited by Ava Amos of Benton, Missouri. Congratulations. We'll now be selecting your junior heifer calf champion in your Red Angus female show.
We haven't had as many numbers in this division, but the quality's been really good. And I think it comes down to these 2 class winners. So we talked this heifer out of the first class, just so striking and perfect in terms of her skeleton, the ability to combine some look and some balance and still have some width and some power. I think just really a unique female. And then we talked the young lady's heifer, just won the last class one that's really flexible off of both ends. You like how feminine she is. You could get in behind her and just power her up ever so slightly, but still a very nice project for that young lady. I probably don't have a very good poker face because I really like this heifer out of the first class to win. Congratulations.
And your junior heifer calf champion in your Red Angus show goes to entry number 16, a T-Bar S Mojo 125L, exhibited by Madison Fisher of Hempstead, Texas. Congratulations. And your reserve division champion goes entry number 21, FFG Poteeth 3001, exhibited by Leah Beatty of Hope, Indiana. Congratulations. We're now ready for class number 6, winter heifer calves over in your Red Angus female show. And placings in class number 10 in your limousine show are as followed. First place goes entry number 49, TASF Clack Peyton 663K, exhibited by Avery Shank of Boonesboro, Maryland. And second place goes entry number 50, ELCX Kate 332K, exhibited by Carter Corneray of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Third place goes entry number 51, Tub MKNA Kamikaze 230, exhibited by McKenna Richardson of Eureka, Kansas. Fourth place goes entry number 52, FWLY LHC Royalty Rita 2887, exhibited by Patton Labor of Hillsboro, Ohio. And fifth place in that class goes entry number 53, ELCX Kissimmee 219, exhibited by Amanda Purvis of For Sales, Kentucky. Congratulations. We're now working on class 11.
Here's a heifer to start the class over on the Lemmy side. I feel one that resembles our class winner from the previous coming out in terms of combining that feminine look, just being ultra cool and very up-headed and attractive up through that front 1/3 and coming out of that shoulder into a big, bold sprung rib shape, the softness that she has, the amount of muscling, the way she ties it all in. And then when we ask her to get out and travel, probably the soundest, the freest, the easiest going female out here. I think this one could probably use a shot of forerib, maybe tied in there just a little bit better right behind the point of her shoulder, but getting really picky on a good one coming out next. Here's a female that continued to grow on me the longer she was out here. The balance that she has, the presence that she has presented to a T, of course, but I think the problem with this female when we set them in motion, she's just not quite as comfortable. I think she's a little more restricted out of her hip and in her hock, and also up front. We just need to loosen this one up and let her go, and if she can do that with a little more comfortability, I think she could really make a run at the female there in front of her. In terms of leg shape and structure and the way she handles herself, the female here in third, I like quite a bit. Her problem's up in her spine. She wants to get a little tight up there. She wants to roll up when we ask her to travel, but I like the hip shape that she has. I like the front end that she has, the look that she can give you. Just need to set her in there, make her a little free and easier down her spine. Here's a heifer, a little bit different type and kind than anybody in the class. Just didn't really have anywhere to fit in. A heifer with a shot more growth and performance. A heifer I appreciate her freshness and her femininity, but a female that gets overpowered, just not quite as enough of her, particularly from forward to flank. We just need to drop her down, make her a little softer and a little freer and easier going as well. Our female here to round out the class, another extremely high quality individual, one that's got a lot of look, one that's got some style to her, one that just maybe doesn't bring it all together quite as smooth. She gets out away from herself up front just a little bit. She gets a little bit more piecey, especially when we ask her to travel. She just needs to bring all those things together, shut down in that tailhead just a little more comfortable as she goes around the ring. But a very high quality class from top to bottom.
And placings in class number 11 over in your limousine show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 54, TSSL Losaurus Charm ET, exhibited by Grant Rumpel of Decatur, Indiana. And second place goes to entry number 58, SHSK Mia Wallace, exhibited by Ellie M. Walther of Centerville, Indiana. Third place goes to entry number 55, SSUL Hush Puppy 9K, exhibited by Harrison Roberts of Harum, Maine. Fourth place goes to entry number 56, PCC JKSM Fantasy 507K, exhibited by Kurt Williams of Bontsville, Alabama. Fifth place goes to entry number 57, SSUL Eden's Looker 2408K, exhibited by Cora State of Prior Lake, Minnesota. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 12 in your limousine female show. Again, now in the ring is Class 12 limousine females. These heifers' date of birth range from May 14th through May 3rd of 2022.
Really a nice class of females, and man, we got a nice one on top. Heifer's giving the young lady some fits, but man, that's a nice heifer that ties a lot of cool pieces together. She's stout-featured and big-footed, and you step in behind her. She's got something to her. I think she's really bold in terms of her rib cage, really striking up there from a front 1/3. Just a really nice place to start in this class. I think there's some give and take, but just from a balance standpoint, the young man that comes next, I think, does so pretty easy. A heifer that's really uniform in terms of her top line and her underline here from the profile. She just needs to have some more bells and whistles. If we stouten her up a little bit at the ground and maybe make her a little neater through her front 1/3, she can compete with the one that wins the class. This dark red one here in third's one that's really three-dimensional. I appreciate that about her. Just a ton of muscle and outward shape to her rib cage. With that extra muscle, she comes with a little more roundness in terms of her shoulder, and we'd sure like to purdy her up there through her front 1/3, but I do appreciate the extra dimension she offers. And I think there's some give and take. Young lady that comes next is probably just a little more feminine than the heifer that follows her, a heifer that's sure big enough in terms of her rib cage. But if we're going to compete with them ones in front of her, I'd like to level her from hooks to pins and stouten her up a little bit when you get in behind her. Then we round out the class, so it's really an easy keeping heifer. I like them things about her. Super bold in terms of her rib cage. Just for a show heifer, we'd like to tie everything together a little nicer to make her compete with them ones in front. But really a nice class of heifers. Congratulations to them exhibitors. A really nice one on top once again.
And placings in class number 6 over in your Red Angus female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 33, T.W. Shana 260K, exhibited by Kennedy Evans of Campbellsburg, Kentucky. Second place in that class goes to entry number 30, 3 Aces Sweet Vision 9102, exhibited by Max Richardson of Menardville, Tennessee. Third place goes entry number 36, AKW Chloe 111K, exhibited by Van Richardson of Minerville of Tennessee. Fourth place goes entry number 35, 7KZG Kismet 6505, exhibited by Aubrey Mitchell of Justin, Texas. Fifth place in that class goes entry number 31, RFIF Ellie 302K, exhibited by Jonathan Shelton of Rockport, Indiana. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 7 in your Red Angus female show. Again, now entering the ring is Class 7. These heifers' date of birth range from October 30th through October 4th of 2022.
Interesting top pair of heifers, particularly in this class, and lots of give and take between them, different in their type and kind. And if you want to argue, I'll sure listen to it, but I like them both quite well. I chose to go with the one that's probably got more belly, more rib shape, more softness. Look at the internal dimension this one has, the shape that she has. We ask her to travel, and she does so extremely comfortable. Love the way her shoulder sits in there, tucks down in, got a nice slope to her knee, handles herself extremely well. Could she be just a nickel prettier, just a nickel tidier chested? Sure, she could. But I think there's so much cow, so much maternal in that one. I think that's kind of what I focused on today, and that's what I've got to stick with. If you want one with a shot more power, here's one I like quite a bit. She definitely has that. I like the bone work that she has. I like the way she handles herself. Get a little extra punch when you get in there right behind her. But along with that, we get just a nickel rounder in terms of the shape of that hip, and maybe not quite the expressiveness, the explosiveness in terms of her rib and that soft look, but one when the young man gets her parked really gives you a good look. I like those two females quite a bit, just different in type and kind, and kind of had to pick one and just roll with it there. Our females in third and fourth, taking nothing away from them. Here's a female coming out. You want to talk about one that's really good in her hip, really square and level in her pin set. A female that just isn't as comfortable on the move. She wants to get a little bit tighter down her spine. We need to loosen her up there. And our female, to round out the class, has that rib shape, has that softness, has the internal dimension that we like in these cattle, just not quite soft enough at the ground. We need to set her down with a little bit more free and ease, particularly on her rear pastern.
And placings in class number 12 are as followed. First place in class number 12 goes to entry number 63, Legacy Kinsley, exhibited by Gemma A. Dorsey of Morno, Illinois. And second place goes to entry number 64, TASF Clack Karma 639, exhibited by Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. Third place goes to entry number 61, CLAC Caitlin 622K, exhibited by Jacob Snyder of Hastings, Minnesota. Fourth place goes to entry number 62, WF Miss Kitty 519K, exhibited by Liam Stewart of Mechanicsburg, Illinois. Congratulations. Now entering the ring is class 13 in your limousine female show. These heifers' date of birth will range from March 31st through March 3rd of 2022. Again, now entering the ring is class 13 limousine females.
Another class with a really competitive trio on top, but there's no doubt this heifer that wins the class does so really easy. Once again, just from a balance standpoint with some extra bells and whistles, she's big-footed, she's big-boned, but she's still really correct and clean in terms of her joint work. I think she's bold-centered with some outward shape there to her rib cage. She ties it together really nice, the way her neck ties into her shoulder. You step in behind her, I think she's got plenty to her. Just a really nice place to start. And then you set her in motion, she really excels the class. Very comfortable off of both ends, fills her tracks quite nicely. I think structure what sorts the next couple, and I think this heifer that comes in second, really well presented, beautiful hair coat on that. I appreciate that about her. When you get her set up here from the side, and I think she does give you a really good look when he finally gets her pulled together. But we set her in motion. She's just too straight off her front end. She needs to go more comfortable. I wish her neck would come out of the top of her shoulder a little more comfortable. I do think that heifer is bold-ribbed and really level from hooks to pins. Gives a good look when she's standing still. We just need to free her up off her front too, excuse me. The young lady's heifer that comes in third is maybe another one that's really striking here from the side, and I like how long and extended she is up front. She's really long and level from hooks to pins. She just comes a little piecier. She wants to maybe break a little behind her shoulders and get a little tighter there in her forerib. And she's another one, when we set her in motion, we need to free her up off of both ends. She gets a little shorter strided off of both ends. If we could let her get out and go with a little more authority and ease, I think she could move up in this class of place. Young man's got a really stout featured heifer here in fourth. I like them things about her, really a rugged designed heifer with a ton of foot and bone size. I appreciate that about her, but she just doesn't balance up quite as nice. I'd like to clean her chest and her navel up a little bit, maybe level her from hooks to pins when she's in motion, but a heifer I do appreciate the stoutness she possesses. And then the young man that rounds out the class has got a big-bodied, easy-doing type of female, going to make a nice cow from that young man. Just to compete with them ones in front of her, I'd like to stouten her up at the ground, clean her up through her front 1/3. Congratulations, another really nice class with a very competitive class winner.
Over here in our marches, I think just a really solid place to start with. I told the young man there, I think this is the third one I can remember he's brought me, and they have all just been of extremely high quality. He's done an exceptional job, brought them together, put together extremely well, and I know he's kind of been second or reserve here so far, but he finally caught a break in this class, and I think this female excels to the front just on her overall balance, her completeness, so attractive, and you get that side profile right there, the way she can bring everything together. I love the angle to her shoulder. I love the set to her knee. We ask her to travel. She does so as comfortable as anybody out here today. I think just a really solid place to start with that female right there. This female in second's a bit of a problem for me. I can look at this female at times and absolutely fall in love with her, and there's times where she maybe doesn't get herself gathered quite as well. She wants to round off a little bit, slope off there in her pins. We'd like to pick her up, set her up. I love the way she comes out of her shoulder, ties that neck in so high, so elevated, gives you a good look, got the bone, got the foot underneath her. Another real high quality one there in second. Our female in third, I bumped up a spot here. Originally had her in fourth. I'd like to see more of this one at this point in the game. We'd like to give that thing a shot of growth. But just in terms of overall build, the freshness that she has, the way she comes to us today, I think that's a really good female there as well. Here's the heifer that I dropped a notch. Love the mass, love the power, love the shape to this one. Just a little bit staler in terms of her condition than some of these other heifers in the class. Isn't quite as coordinated as some of the others. When we ask her to get out to go, we'd like to freshen her up, trim down that neck a little bit on her, but love the mass and body and dimension in that one. And here's a female rounding out the class. We love the style, we love the look that this one has, we love the presence, but she's just too restricted in her hip, she's too restricted in her hock. We need to just settle this one in and allow her to go a little freer and easier to run with those other heifers in the class.
And placings in class number 13 over in your Limousin female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 68, J6 Cataline 685, exhibited by Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. And second place goes to entry number 69, Legacy's Cora exhibited by Jocelyn Robert of Witt, Illinois. And third place goes to entry number 70, FSC Kit Kat, exhibited by Brock E. Freed of Fairbury, Illinois. And fourth place goes entry number 72, J6 Caitlin 634K, exhibited by Clay Hatton of Reevesville, Indiana. Fifth place goes entry number 56, Ratliff Know Your Worth, exhibited by Michaela Jo Massey of London, Kentucky. Congratulations to those limousine exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 14 limousine females. Again, now entering the ring is Class 14 limousine females. These heifers' date of birth range from February 27th through February 22nd of 2022. And placings in Class 7 over in your Red Angus female show are as followed. First place goes entry number 42, TBARS Miss 5028, exhibited by Hadley Hartman of TCM, Nebraska. Second place goes to entry number 38, Rosewood Bionica 285, exhibited by Walker Crank of Salem, Illinois. Third place goes to entry number 43, Three Aces Daisy 9062, exhibited by Lila Sims of McEwen, Tennessee. And fourth place goes to entry number 37, Red LePage 10591E, Energize, exhibited by Montana Sits of Oshkosh, Ohio. Fifth place goes entry number 41, 7KZG Chrome KO51, exhibited by Zachary Griffith of Mariner, Oklahoma. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 8 Senior Heifer Calves in your Red Angus show.
Well, I can already tell this division, when we get to it, it's going to be fun. We've put together a string of class winners here, I think, of the utmost elite quality. The balance they have, the presentation they've come at us with, the style, the femininity, and yet still having the mass and the shape to go along with that, and most importantly, all that and the structure underneath it to carry them for the long haul. And I think this is a female that ties into exactly what we've been doing so far. I think she fits the mold extremely well. I think this one's one that's long-necked, she's up-headed, she's very classy, she's very feminine in her design. Yet again, a female, we come back out of her shoulders, we've got all kinds of shape, we've got all kinds of power in her, and she ties it all together so well, so easy going, so free on the move. Just a logical place to start. Here's one that will be second in this class if you like them with a shot more muscle, if you like them with a shot more power in them. She definitely has that. Unfortunately for me, she's a female that becomes a little bit more piecey when we try to tie everything together. She gets just a little bit shorter about that neck. But again, I appreciate this female's mass and substance and overall power that she brings to us here today.
And first place in class number 14 over in your limousine show goes to entry number 75, ELCX Kist 206K, exhibited by Shane Kendall of Magnolia, North Carolina. And second place in that class goes entry number 74, GGCG Carolina 801K, exhibited by Delaney Lucy of Glen Easton, West Virginia. And please note that entry number 73 was a scratch. Now entering the ring is class 15 in your limousine show. These heifers' date of birth range from January 27th through January 3rd of 2022. Again, entering the ring now is Class 15 Limousine.
really an interesting class of females. We got kind of one of every different type and kind you could imagine in this class. And I can't say I'm just in love with any female in this class, but I think there's a lot of quality in a lot of them. I think this heifer that I like to win the class has just got the most valuable pieces in terms of a breeding piece. Man, she's a big-footed, big-boned female. It's really long and extended from her shoulder forward. I love them things about her. She just looks like she's taking her trip to town a little tough. She almost looks a little wrung out and sucked in there in front of her hook bones, wanting to fight the halter. But man, he gets her set up here from the side. She can really paint you a cool picture. I wish she was just a tick square from hock to ground as you watch her go away, but I do think she's flexible, and like I said, she offers some big pieces in terms of stoutness and look from the side. And she is very green in terms of the rest of the very green in terms of her condition compared to the rest of this class, so I think she's going to do nothing but get better. The young man that comes second, I think this heifer just falls in here because of her balance. I think he gets her set up here from the side. I love how deep and bold and the sweep she has to her rib cage, really feminine about her head and neck. A heifer that if we're just going to compete with that one in front of her, she needs to be a little bigger boned, a little bigger footed. Then we set her in motion, we'd free her up ever so slightly, but I still think she has an advantage in terms of her skeleton to the heifers that follow her. There's no doubt the young man that comes in third's got the big, bold, stout, high-performing female. I like them things about her. Man, she's overwhelming when you step in behind her. She's just simply too straight off of both ends of her skeleton. We need to lay her back in terms of her shoulder, give her some more back slope to her knee, let her flex out of her hip and hock a little nicer. But I do like the extra power that she possesses. Young man's got a moderate heifer here that comes in fourth. I like some things about her. He gets her set up here on the side, and she can give you a really cool look, dead level from the top of her shoulder, clear back to her tail head. I like them things about her. Maybe to compete with some of these, we just need to extend that heifer out just a little more. She wants to get a little shorter from her pole to the top of her shoulder, maybe lengthen her from hooks to pins ever so slightly, but still really a bold-bodied, kind of neat-looking heifer here from the side. The heifer that comes next is like our class winner, a little greener in terms of her condition. I appreciate that about her. I think she's a big, flexible in terms of her skeleton. We just need to tie everything together a little nicer. She wants to get a little deeper in terms of her chest floor and just kind of break a little bit in there behind her shoulders and in her forerib. If we could fix them things, we could sure move her up. And then we round out the class with another heifer that's like that one that was in third, really big and bold. When you step in behind her, you appreciate them things about her. But we just set that heifer in motion. We need to give her a little more freedom and flex, some more longevity. But congratulations, a really interesting class. Congratulations to all those kids.
And placings in class number 8 over in your Red Angus show are as follows. First place goes to entry number 46, 3 Aces Fauna, 9042, exhibited by Andrew Meyer of Clinton, Tennessee. Second place in that class goes to entry number 45, 50AK Countless, 2627, exhibited by Grant Giffey of Sparta, Tennessee. Third place goes to entry number 48, LLS Reba 02K, exhibited by Logan Schwartz of Coulter, Indiana. Fourth place goes to entry number 50, 50AK at Navarra 2611, exhibited by Gavin Griffey of Sparta, Tennessee. Fifth place goes to entry number 49, Shady's MS Kennedy K108, exhibited by Ella Troglin of Crossville, Tennessee. And sixth place in that class goes to entry number 47, LLS May Bell 03K, exhibited by Lila Schwartz of Coulter, Indiana. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be the selection of your fall heifer calf champion. Again, entering the ring is the selection of your fall heifer calf champion.
I think this heifer that's going to start the class is probably just most proportional all around in terms of combining the different pieces that she has and that she offers and brings them just together in an extremely high quality package and handling them so well when we ask her to travel. Extremely comfortable. We get her stopped and set up. way high-headed, comes out of that shoulder so well, square out her hip, gives us a cool look. Young lady does it right there, does an excellent job exhibiting this female. I think she's just the one that's hardest to poke a hole in. She's the most fault-free of the ones out here. I could maybe like to see her a frame score bigger, just a shot more gas in her. But I think, like I said, she just is so proportional and so has so much symmetry everywhere else. We can't deny her. Our female here in second, here's another one. You want to talk about one that's just ultra cool looking and skinny necked and can give you that ring presence that she has. Maybe just doesn't balance up quite as well from shoulders back. We'd like to pull her down, drop her down, give her a little more flank particularly. And she's just a nickel frailer in terms of bone work. I hate to pick on her there, but when we get these quality of cattle, we'd sure like to stouten her up there at the ground. Here's a female coming out in third, kind of just falls right in the middle, and she definitely is that. We love the added bone work, the foot size that she has. I love her from her forerib back, the sweep that she has. She just needs to tie in her forerib better. She needs to be a little bit smoother and lay in a little more angular in her shoulders. She just gets a nickel open and a nickel coarse in that department for me. That's where I'd like to change her. Here's a female coming out next. When she first walked in, I really liked this female and kind of thought she was going to be one that I'd end up gravitating towards the look and the style that she has. Unfortunately, the more we walk these things, the more we travel them. She's too upright in her shoulders. She's a little too straight in her knee. We just need to set her in there, let her be a little more comfortable moving off that front end. And the heifer to round out the class, absolutely taking nothing away from this one. I think this one's going to make a phenomenal cow. I love the condition, the freshness that she's brought to us in. I love the softness about her. Maybe I like to tone her down in terms of her teat size and development for this early, but I think this one's going to go on and do a great job for the young lady there.
Man, we've had a really competitive division over here on the Red Angus side. I think it comes down to these three class winners without a doubt. I think each one of them classes had a good one on top that were very, very good, very, very competitive in each of them classes. We'll start with that young lady that wins the first class. As we talked about, one with just some huge pieces in terms of being so stout at the ground and so big and bold in terms of her pin set. Got some stoutness to her down her back, still attractive up there through her front 1/3. The young lady gets her set up here and just gives you a beautiful look. You set her in motion. She's wanting to fight the halter. I maybe give her a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. She probably could go with just a little more ease off of both ends of her skeleton, but that's getting very picky on a heifer that's got some big, big pieces and a really unique, high-quality look here from the side. The young lady with the cowboy hat that won the second class, as we talked that heifer in class, just some really high quality pieces and does so in a very balanced package. I just don't really know where you need to change this heifer. I think her skeleton's awesome. In terms of the angle to her shoulder, I think the back slope to her knee is near ideal. She's really good from hooks to pins, and I think she gets out and goes out of her hip and hock and her rear past and very, very ideal. I think she's bold enough in terms of her rib cage, and we talked her in class. Very neat up there through her front 1/3. She's maybe not quite as stout as the heifer right in front of her, but she's more than adequate in my eyes. And then the young man that just won the last class, as we talked that heifer, really green in terms of her condition. I think this heifer's got some nicer days in front of her, but man, she can give you a killer look here from the side. Very extended from the top of her shoulder to her pole. I like that about her. She's a long-bodied heifer. It's really long and level from hooks to pins. I think she's another one that stands on a good amount of foot and bone. I like them things about her. As we talked her in class, you get right in there behind her. You'd like to stouten her up a little bit and square her up from hock to ground, but still another heifer that's very high quality. Has got some unique breeding pieces. I'll go show you the two I like the best, but let's give them a round of applause for a very competitive division.
And your fall heifer calf champion in your Red Angus female show goes to entry number 42, T Bars Miss 5028K, exhibited by Hadley Hartman of Tissamy, Nebraska. Congratulations. And your reserve division champion goes entry number 33, T.W. Shana 260, exhibited by Kennedy Evans of Campbellsburg, Kentucky. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now entering the ring is Class 9 Summer Yearling Heifers. Again, entering the ring now is Class 9 Summer Yearling Heifers in your Red Angus female show. And first place in 15 over in your limousine show goes to entry number 82, CLAC Kylie 112K, exhibited by Riley Stockdale of Dayton, Pennsylvania. Second place goes to entry number 80, TLFC Electric Dancer 10K, exhibited by Brody Bernard of Windsor, Illinois. Third place goes to entry number 84, FSC Cora, exhibited by Ty Freed of Fairbury, Illinois. Fourth place goes entry number 81, Ratliff Keep Up the Charm, exhibited by Trace M. Falkenstein of Owensgo, Kansas. Fifth place goes entry number 83, ELCX Katrina 184K, exhibited by Taylor Holloway of Fort White, Florida. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Division III Limousine Champion. In the ring now will be the selection of your Division III champion female.
Well, I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, let's give these exhibitors this division a big round of applause. You should be very proud of yourself. You want to talk about just a phenomenal lineup out here for a division. It's a challenge, no doubt, and I told myself when I asked them to walk there a second time, I always preach on structure, and I always come back to it. And I told myself in my head, when they start walking, you're going to use the one that looks the best on the move. I don't care what they look like when they get back stopped. Who can hold themselves together, who can do all the things that I want them to do when we ask them to get out and travel, because at the end of the day, that's what makes money in a cow herd, in my opinion. I think that's the one thing that's the hardest to change breeding forward. There's a lot of other things we can do, but structure is hard to improve, and when you got it to start with, it makes it a lot easier moving forward. Now, having said that, I'll be honest, I'm still not 100% sure where I want to go, but I've got it narrowed down to a couple. But I'm just so proud of y'all as exhibitors and breeders, just here in a division, just an insanely good lineup. And I don't know if there's one that's just absolutely dominant out here, but you talk about loading up a trailer and building a herd off of what we've got out here in our class winners and our seconds. I mean, this is something you guys should really hold your heads up high and be proud of. I'll quit talking now and trying to buy time. Let's give them one more round of applause. I'm going to look one more time and pick your champion for this division.
Just a trio of females in this division, so we got an automatic champion and reserve in this division. I think all three of these females got some high quality pieces. I wish we could take a few pieces of each of them and put them all together, because I'd like to tweak each one of them a little bit. But I think the heifer that wins the class, when you set them in motion, she does the best job of filling her tracks and getting out and go on the move. I think a heifer, she gets her set up here from the side, she can give you a quality balanced look. We maybe like to just freshen her up in terms of her condition, extend her through her front 1/3, maybe stouten her up from hooks to pins a little bit, but I do think she's the best structured female in this class, without a doubt, a big, bold-bodied one, too. There's no doubt this heifer in seconds, blessed with a beautiful hair coat, really nicely presented. I like them things about her. A heifer on the stand, I can like her to win the class pretty good. I think she gives you a really high quality look. It's when we set her in motion where I like to tweak her a little bit. She needs to have more angle to her shoulder, a little more cushion to her knee, and we set her in motion. She comes up a little short in terms of filling her tracks, but does give you a really high quality look on the stand. The young lady that rounds out the class, she's the one that's really good looking in terms of her throat over the top side of her neck. I think she's dead level down her top, but she's another one when we set her in motion, she gets a little shorter strided, and maybe to compete with them two in front of her, she just needs some more time for a calf to drop, give her a little more spring and boldness to her rib cage, but still a high quality female in that class. Congratulations to all three of those girls on a really nice class.
And your Division 3 Limousine Champion female goes to entry number 68. J6 Caitlin, 685K, exhibited by Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. And your Reserve Division Champion goes to entry number 82. CLAC Kylie, 112K, exhibited by Riley Stockdale of Dayton, Pennsylvania. Congratulations to those limousine exhibitors. Now entering the ring will be Class 16 females, limousine females. Again, entering the ring now is Class 16 limousine females. And over in your Red Angus female show, placings for Class 9 are as followed. First place in automatic intermediate champion heifer goes to entry number 52, KJHT FCFR Susachi 2082, exhibited by Olivia Naylor of Connorsville, Indiana. Second place in reserve division champion goes to entry number 54, FCFR Roxy 246, exhibited by Lauren Walter of Aviation, Illinois. Third place goes to entry number 53, TC Cashmere 112K, exhibited by Carly Jo Kilman of Braemere, Missouri. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 10 April Spring Yearling Heifers.
We move into our senior yearling division over here, and two females of extremely high quality to start this division. Heifer, we chose to start with one that's long-bodied, long-necked, real good looking, good at the ground. She's angular in her shoulder. I like the slope to her knee. I like her hip set, the way she levels out from hooks to pins. If I was to change this one, you know, as she gets going, she maybe wants to get a little tighter down her spine. We need to relax her, settle her in there. But I think that one that's very proportionate in terms of her body, in terms of her shape, in terms of her substance. Our female here in second, another one, again, extremely high quality. I love the soft look, probably a little bit softer centered than the one that won the class, one that's long necked, maybe one that just doesn't have that symmetry and that style about her when we compare her to the heifer in front of her, and maybe a heifer that's just a little further along in terms of her condition. But I still think she's presented to us very nice. A female that got good running gear, good structure underneath her. Two very high quality females there to start our senior yearling division.
Really a competitive pair on the top end of this class. There's some give and take. Young lady here in the purple shirt, I think this heifer just gets out and goes so nice. She reaches out of her front end real good. She fills her tracks with her rear too. Gives you a really high quality look here from the side. I think her neck shoots really attractive and high out of the top of her shoulder. Really long and level from hooks to pins. We step in behind her. I'd like to just give her a little more width there to her pin set, maybe stouten her up ever so slightly in terms of her muscle pattern, but I do think that's a high quality heifer that can get out and go really good. There's no doubt this real dark colored female that comes second is the bold, wide-bodied, stout female of the class, and I appreciate them things about her. And on the standstill, I can really fall in love with her because she's so petite and little about her neck and big and bold in her rib cage and stout when you step in behind her. But when we put her in motion where I like to fix her, she's wanting to get outside of herself ever so slightly, and then we could sure freshen her up in terms of her condition, especially there under her lower 1/3, but still a very high quality female with some neat pieces. Young lady that comes in third just runs into a tough pair. Here's a heifer that gives you a really cool look from the side. Like we talk about sometimes, just dead level down her top, really uniform in terms of her underline. Maybe if she's going to compete with the ones in front of her, we tuck her chest floor up and her brisket into her a little tighter, maybe freshen her up there, and maybe make her a little more extended, but still very high quality female to go third. Then we round out the class with a big, bold-bodied female that's super easy keeping, going to make an awesome cow for that young lady. Just to compete in a competitive class, we need to give her a little higher quality look here from the profile with some more balance, but still a nice female. Congratulations, those exhibitors, on another very competitive class.
A single entry as we move along through our senior division on the Lemmy side of things, and a cow-calf pair. I really like to see this at this point in the game, one that's already entered production, proven what she can do. She's brought to us here in her working clothes. I appreciate that about her. I think the running gear underneath of this cow is extremely good. I like her udder quality, her shape, her balance, and levelness that she has to it, proven she can do a really good job bringing us just an October baby. I told the young lady she hadn't had much time to get work on her to get her to this point. She's given her a handful, but extremely sharp looking little heifer calf cow's already proven what she's going to do. Nice pair there to win that class.
And over in your limousine show placings in class number 16, first place goes to entry number 86, MKLN 1105, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan of Dunlap, Iowa. Second place in class 16 goes to entry number 87, TASF Jui 559J, exhibited by Chloe Bruce of Emerson, Iowa. Congratulations. First place in class 17 goes to entry number 88, ELCX Jam Session 362J, exhibited by Amanda Purvis of Versailles, Kentucky. Congratulations to the limousine exhibitors. Now in the ring is class 18.
There's another single entry here as we move through our senior yearling division, but another one of extremely high quality. When we study the silhouette and the outlines of this female, the young lady's got her parked there. I think we love her down her spine and out her hip. I love her leg structure that she has, the way she carries herself. I think she's extremely good off of both ends. Maybe a female that we could freshen up just a nickel, but it's been a long year for her, these senior yearlings. It's a long race to run, one that maybe could be just a skosh prettier up through that head and neck, but love the amount of mass that she's got, the way she comes out of her spine, bold and open, really high quality single entry female there.
And first place in class number 18 in your limousine show goes to entry number 89, HBWR Whiskey at 19.5J, exhibited by Samantha Napico of Ewing, Kentucky. Congratulations. Now in the ring is Division 4 champion in your limousine female show. We will be selecting your Division 4 champion. And placings in class number 19 in your Red Angus show. First place goes to entry number 66, L1G KIP, Miss Revelous Star K114, exhibited by Lauren Goki of State Center, Iowa. And second place goes entry number 63, WR Miss Kita Jane 2001, exhibited by Sophie Scalcop of Brazil, Indiana. And third place goes entry number 61, LRCC Andrea, exhibited by Maria Turner of Maumette, Illinois. Fourth place goes entry number 62, HH April 2122, exhibited by Ella Huggy of Calhoun, Georgia. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is Class 11 March Spring Yearling Heifers. Those around ringside wanting pictures of today's show and all the shows this week, all you have to do is go to lindyslivestockphotos.com to see all the photos from here in Broadbent and Freedom Hall. Again, Lindy's Livestock Photography is the official photographer of the 50th anniversary North American.
Well, it's been an interesting senior yearling division here on the Lemmy side of things, and I think you could stand out here and justify about any one of these females to win the division. We truly do have some real quality out here. I love the silhouette, the outline right there. That heifer gets perked up and stops fighting the young lady and just settles in. The look that she can give us, the angles that she has, the presence that she has, it's all very intriguing and very captivating. Sure, if I'm going to pick on this one, I don't know that she moves out with the most free and ease. She's wanting to fight the young lady. That doesn't help her any, but she wants to get ever so tight down her spine. I'd like to loosen her up and just let her relax a little more as she goes. Our cow-calf pair in that next class, you've got to appreciate a young female already laid down, had you a heifer calf, getting the job done. Comes here looking as good as she does, just in her working clothes. What you see is what you get, and I tip my hat to the young lady for that, for bringing her out here. Fancy little heifer calf. That one's going to be making you money in no time. And our female here out of the last class, big and massive and robust, and of course still in calf, hasn't calved out. I'd like to see maybe some udder development a little further along, and along with that maybe modify her teat structure and size and shape just a little bit. But we love the overall mass that one has, and to still set down on on such good structure and such good running gear. I think that one's going to make a whale of a cow for the young lady. My opinion here today, I'm going to keep the two together that came out of the first class there. They'll be your champion reserve. I think they pair up extremely nice in this division.
Over here on the Red Angus side, another really competitive class, and there's some give and take all the way down. I think these two that surface, though, do so pretty easy for me. And then between the two, this one on the move's just so much better. Really a big, sound-footed female. It gets out and goes off of both ends of her skeleton really well. Man, she gets her set up here from the side and gets her old ears forward. Gives you a striking look here. Maybe not the stoutest female we've seen. I'd like to step in behind her, maybe give her a little more genuine width. But I do think that heifer's a bold-ribbed female. Like I said, it's big-footed and stout-structured. Gets out and goes very good off of both ends of her skeleton. I think a really unique female here in second. In terms of having some power and some muscle shape, I like them things about her and still attractive through her front 1/3. I think very unique the way she's built. A heifer that if we're just going to compete with that one in front of her, we need to let her get out and grab another gear and go with some more freedom and flex. And she is probably starting to show a little more calf and wants to break in her loin ever so slightly. Doesn't balance up quite as nice on the move. Young lady's got really a neat heifer here in third, gives you an awesome look from the side. I think she's a stout featured heifer. I'd just like to see more of her when you step in behind her. Just give her a little more outline and stoutness in terms of her pin set, but still a high quality heifer that falls into third really nice. Young lady does an awesome job here with this heifer in fourth, one that I appreciate for being deep bodied, long and level hipped. Maybe to compete with them ones in front of her, we tuck her chest up in her ever so slightly, maybe tone her tail head down a little bit to compete with the ones in front of her, but still a very high quality female. Young lady that comes next has got one that's really green. I think a heifer that if we could just stouten her up and maybe give her a little more look, a quality and balance here from the side to compete with the ones in front of her. But congratulations, really a nice pair on the top end of that class.
And placings in class number 11 over in your Red Angus female show. First place goes to entry number 72, HEH Georgia 1K, exhibited by Haley Hartman of Tomska, Nebraska. Second place goes to entry number 67, 111KF, Miss Madonna K510, exhibited by Kyler Plug of Lincoln, Nebraska. Third place goes to entry number 73, NIO Bayberry 2157, exhibited by Paige Wood of Big Cabin, Oklahoma. Fourth place goes to entry number 68, Avon Red Dory 103, exhibited by Hadley Kepserside of Cuba, Missouri. Fifth place goes to entry number 75, KJHT Tricky 2110, exhibited by Delaney Nalore of Connorsville, Indiana. Sixth place goes to entry number 69, Hilco Tarmley 2008K, exhibited by Kyra Moore of Fountain Run, Kentucky. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now we will be selecting your senior intermediate champion heifer in your Red Angus female show. And placing in your Division 4 Limousine champion goes to entry number 86, MKLN 1105J, exhibited by Sarah Sullivan of Dunlap, Iowa. Your Division 4 Reserve champion goes to entry number 87, TASF Dewey 559J, exhibited by Chloe Bruce of Emerson, Iowa. Congratulations to those exhibitors. Now we will be selecting your grand champion limousine female here at the 50th anniversary North American. Again, we will be selecting your grand champion limousine female. I would like to take this time to reintroduce your judge for today in your limousine show, Mr. Ryan Hefner, a graduate of Illinois State University. From 2007 to 2018, he was the farm manager of Hudson Pines Farm in Sleepy Hollow, New York. He is a past recipient of the American Simmental Angus Herdsman of the Year Award. He currently lives in Clinton, Illinois, where he and his wife, Megan, and two daughters, Adley and Emerly, run small herd of Simmental-based cattle. Ryan and his wife, Megan, own and operate Hefner Marketing, LLC, offering services such as sale management, consulting, and more. Limousine breeders, if you could join me in giving Mr. Ryan Hefner one more big round of applause for being here with us. And another announcement, after the Grand Drive is selected in your limousine show, we will be doing your bred and own. So all bred and owns need to be in the makeup area. Again, after we select your Grand Champion Limousine female, we will select your bred and own.
So we bring our class winners back out here in the Red Angus show. I think it comes down to these two class winners, and they were really competitive classes that they came out of, but I think they really stick out. I think this heifer out of the first class, when she gets her pulled together, just so striking here from the side in terms of the balance of her underline, dead level from top of her shoulder down her back, and really good from hooks to pins. I think a heifer that's adequate in terms of her structure, especially when you set her in motion. She gets out and fills her tracks. Maybe on the stand here she wants to get a little straighter in terms of her hock, but I do think she utilizes it and uses it pretty good when you set her in motion. As we talked about in class, you step right in behind her and you could sure give her a little more width and true genuine shape there out of her pins and down there in her quarter and stifle, but I still think a high quality heifer with a lot of pieces. The one that comes out of the next class, a heifer that we talked about, so big and flexible in terms of her feet and legs. I love that about her. I think she's really fresh in terms of her condition. I like how clean and tidy she is up over the top of her neck, through her throat latch. We maybe could tuck her chest up into her ever so slightly. She would balance up in terms of her underline a little nicer. A heifer, you step in behind her. I think maybe she tricked me a little bit in class. I thought she maybe wasn't the stoutest, but I think she's just a little greener. When you really study her and step in behind her, I think a heifer that's got some genuine width. I appreciate that about her. We set her in motion. She does want to duck her pins ever so slightly. I'd like to tweak her there just a little bit, but that's picking on a heifer that's very high quality and very good and flexible in terms of both ends of her skeleton. I'll look at them one more time and show you the two I like the best, but congratulations. Give these exhibitors on another very competitive division.
And your senior intermediate champion heifer in your Red Angus show goes to entry number 72, HEH Georgia 1K, exhibited by Hadley Hartman of Tumska, Nebraska. Congratulations.
Here in our lineup over on the Lemmy side of things, let's take a moment and give these exhibitors a big round of applause. I have been just blown away with the amount of quality that's came out here, class after class, all the way through. I mean, the depth that you've had as breeders, as exhibitors, you should be extremely proud of yourselves and proud of this set of cattle that you've put out here. I know I am, and I'd be proud to take any one of them home or stand in that backdrop picture with any one of them. I think you've got the utmost elite in terms of cattle out here. With that being said, I'll be honest, I don't know if there's one that I just have to go use right now. I think there's several of them you can justify, and I sure like several of them. I don't know that there's a hands down just have to use her today. I think there's good in all these cattle, and not to drag this out any longer, but I would like to run through them just real quick here and acknowledge each one. Maybe nitpick a little when we get to this level. This calf, the silhouette that this one has, the build that this one has, the softness and the shape that she has still coming out into a ultra cool, ultra feminine head and neck. You love that about her. If I'm going to pick on this one, I'd like to see her stop fighting the young man. She's been a handful for him. I'd like to see her just get out and go. When you study her joints and her angles, there's absolutely nothing about this one that tells you she can't do it. She just hasn't done it yet, and I think that's more of an attitude thing. She needs to settle in, and I think when you turn this one loose, she'll really motor. But, I mean, just an awesome way to start the day here. we come into the fall, I mean, you crank it up here in terms of power and substance. This one's got added foot and added bone underneath of her, and still brings everything together the way she does. And we set her in motion, and she can travel. Sure, if I'm going to pick on this one, I'd love to tuck her in there in her shoulder, just a little cleaner and a little neater. She's a tick coarse up there, but when we ask her to travel, I think she handles herself extremely well, especially off that front end. The angles are there. The flex is there. We just like to set her in. But when you talk about the substance that one's bringing with her from there back, I mean, you just love that female in terms of power. The female coming out of our third division, you know, that was the one I told myself, I'm going to walk her one more time. And the one that looks best walking, that's the one I'm going to use. I'm not even going to let them get parked. And she did that for me. I think when we really turn these cattle loose, if we were to take the halters off and let them be, this one is the most fault-free. She's the best at the ground. She's the most pliable. She's the most flexible. She's the most comfortable. Does this one absolutely blow you away in any one department? Probably not. She's not a freak. She could be just a little bit prettier necked if you want to pick on her. That she could use just a skosh more forerib. But man, to be built that good at the ground and still have that kind of shape to her and that kind of swoop to her rib cage, just the way she handles herself. I mean, I never look at that female and don't like her. She's just always got a good look to present to you. I love that about that one. And we come back here into our senior yearling, one that when we get her stopped and we get her parked, we get her set up, I mean, so clean down that throat latch, so clean through her chest and fresh for one of this age. We love that about her. However, we turn her loose. I mentioned there in class division, she wants to get just a nickel tighter down her spine. I'd like to relax her, especially there behind the point of her shoulder. Just let her move a little free and easy. And for being a shot older than some of these other heifers, I maybe would like to see her just a little bit softer and a little more swoop to that rib cage for this point in the game. But man, that's picking on a really good one. And I don't mean to be negative here to any of these exhibitors. It's been a phenomenal show. I've had a lot of fun. I'm sure plenty of you have disagreed with things I've done or what I'm about to do, and that's fine. That's what cow showing was about. Hopefully, I've at least been able to describe what I've seen and what I'm doing and the kind I like. With all that being said, that's enough out of me. Let's give them one more round of applause. I'm going to look again and select you a couple champions.
And your grand champion limousine female goes to entry number 68, J6 Caitlin at 685 KET, exhibited by Ben Spencer of Gibbon, Nebraska. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion limousine female goes to entry number 82, CLAC Kylie 11-2 KET, exhibited by Riley Stockdale of Dayton, Pennsylvania. Congratulations. We'll now be selecting your bred and known champion.
Over here on the Red Angus side, I think another class with a lot of give and take. like one of them fall heifer classes. They're just kind of one of every shape and size in here. But I think this heifer that wins the class does so really easy, just from a balance and structure standpoint, one that can get out and go with the best of them. I think a heifer that balances up really good here from the side. Young lady's doing an awesome job showing her. If we were going to tweak her, I think we could freshen her up a little bit. She's getting a little bit of fat cover there over her pones and a little full in terms of her brisket, but I do think that's a high-quality heifer with an awesome skeleton. Young lady does a good job with her. Young lady that comes in second, this heifer does come to us a little fresher in terms of her condition. I appreciate that about her. She gets her on the stand here, and I think she can give you a quality look from the side. When we set her in motion, she doesn't balance up quite as nice as that heifer from the side. She wants to dip in her loin a little bit, maybe doesn't have her neck come out of her quite as comfortable as the one that wins this class, but still a nice, fresh presented heifer. Congratulations to her. Young man in third's got really a unique heifer. I think she's modern in terms of her frame size, but there's nothing wrong with that. I think a heifer that gives you an awesome look here from the side when he gets her set up. Just very balanced in terms of her underline and symmetry. I think she's good looking through her front 1/3. Maybe to compete with them two in front of her, we just give her a little more foot size and bone work, and then just stouten her up when you step right in behind her, but still very a nice heifer to go third in this class. The young lady that comes next, heifer, little bigger outlined heifer that's really long and leveled on her top. I appreciate that about her. She just gets a little straighter off of both ends of her skeleton, maybe not quite as stout as some of them in front of her. Then we got a really unique heifer that comes here next, just way too heavy in terms of her condition. I would have liked to seen her a couple 100 pounds ago. Heifer that it's just hindering her movement. We need to let her get out and go a little nicer off of both ends of her skeleton. And then we round out the class with another one that's plenty heavy in terms of her condition. I do like how big and bold she is in terms of her rib cage, but she needs to be a little tidier through her front 1/3 to compete with the ones in front of her. Congratulations, a really nice heifer on the top end of that class.
And placings in class number 12 here in your Red Angus show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 78, HHLCC Drama Queen 2305, exhibited by Riley Moon of Comer, Georgia. And second place in that class goes to entry number 85, AMT Dory Bella 45K2ET, exhibited by Kyra Moore of Fountain Run, Kentucky. Third place goes to entry number 83, 50AK Falling Water 2604, exhibited by Gunnar Giffey of Sparta, Tennessee. Fourth place goes to entry number 87, HH Larka 2066, exhibited by Paige Wood, Big Cabin, Oklahoma. Fifth place goes to entry number 87, MM Fantasy's Dream 2036K, exhibited by Luke Patterson from Harpers Ferry, Iowa. Sixth place in that class goes to entry number 79, ZKZG Kelsey 317K, exhibited by Zachary Griffith of Marianna, Oklahoma. Again, congratulations to those exhibitors. Now in the ring is class 13.
So this is going to be our bred known division, and I'd like to take just a moment to congratulate these exhibitors out here. This is what it's all about, being able to breed these things and bring them back, and probably some of them out of past show heifers, and continue to build a program and move forward off of. Obviously, we've already got your champion out here in this division, so we're going to look at these things and find a reserve to go along with her. But let's give all these kids one big round of applause. Great job today. And I personally would like to thank the North American for everything they do to put this show on, the opportunity to be here. Thank you to the board for having me here. It's been an absolute blast to work through these cattle. Let's give all the exhibitors today an extremely good show. Give them one more round of applause. I'll find you a reserve bred known champion.
And your reserve bred known Limousine female goes to Ty Freed of Fairbury, Illinois. Congratulations, and congratulations to all Limousine breeders for a successful 50th anniversary North American show right here in Broadbent Arena. We will take a few pictures, and then we'll be ready for your full-blood Simmental heifer show right here in Broadbent. Again, give us about a couple minutes for pictures, and then we will start your full-blood Simmental heifers show with Class 1.
This class has been as deep in quality as any we've seen today, and I still think we brought a bazooka to a gunfight here. This heifer that wins the class is so stout featured, and it starts at the ground. She's big-footed and big-boned, ultra flexible off of both ends of her skeleton, really tidy up there about her throat latch, over the top of her neck, really wide-bodied and stout-ended. I appreciate them things about that in a female, and she's so bold and round in terms of her rib cage. I wish she'd get out and show herself off a little better here today. She's wanting to fight the halter, but man, that's a high-quality female with some big, big pieces. I appreciate a lot of things about. I think it gets very close in 2 and 3 here, and I think both of these females are very, very high quality. I just think there's more heifer here, and this heifer in second. I think a heifer, when you step in behind her, she's got more width in there behind her shoulders. She's stouter out her pins and down there in her quarter and stifle. I think she's adequate in terms of her movement. She gets out and reaches and fills her tracks really nice. I maybe would like to lay her back in terms of her shoulder ever so slightly, but that's getting picky on a very, very high quality female. Young lady gets her pulled together. She gives you an awesome look from the side. There's no doubt this one in third is very attractive. I love the way her neck shoots out of the top side of her shoulder. She's dead level from hooks to pins. She's a big-footed, big-boned heifer, really flexible off of both ends of her skeleton. Where she needs to be fixed for me is she's just too narrow. I'd like to see more heifer. You study there in behind her shoulders and you get in behind her. She just needs to be stoutened up in terms of her width and her muscle pattern to compete with them two in front of her. And then it just breaks my heart to put this young lady last in a very competitive class because she's doing an awesome job showing a very good heifer. She just runs into a lot of competition. I love how level this heifer is down her top from hooks to pins. She's bold in terms of her rib cage. Just to compete with them ones in front of her, we need to stouten her bone work up a little bit, maybe tuck her chest into her ever so slightly, but still a nice project from that young lady. Give them girls a round of applause for a very competitive class.
And placings in class number 13 in your Red Angus female show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 88, D Dad of Abby Gabby, exhibited by Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas. Second place goes to entry number 90, AMTC Princess Lena 1K1, exhibited by Marcy Harwood of Richfield, North Carolina. Third place goes to entry number 89, Rosewood Lola 222K, exhibited by Campbell Bletcher of Buncombe, Illinois. And fourth place goes to entry number 91, C Bar Mimi 201K, exhibited by Maberly and Durrell from Jackson, Missouri. Congratulations. We'll now be selecting your junior champion female here in your Red Angus show.
As we bring another set of first and seconds back in the Red Angus show over here, we got a pair of class winners and then a heifer that was second in the second class. I think all three of these are in really close contention. As we talk, the young lady that won this class up front here, so perfect in terms of the angles to her skeleton, and when you set her in motion, you can just see that. So comfortable and fluid off of both ends of her skeleton. As we compare her maybe to them two heifers out of the next class, I would like to tuck her chest up in her ever so slightly. She's maybe showing a little more fat cover over her pones than I like to see, but still a very good structured, high quality animal. Then we talked about the heifer out of the next class, just offers some huge pieces and a really flexible skeleton. It's hard to make cattle like that to be so sound in terms of their skeleton, but still have some width and power and muscle and rib shape. Still very attractive about their head and neck. I think just a very high quality female out of the second class. Then the young lady that got second in that class, so we talked about that heifer. It's hard to pick on her because she's so balanced and gives you a quality look here from the side. She gets out and goes off of both ends of her skeleton. As I talked about, I'd just like to give her a little more angle to her shoulder. She wants to get a little steeper up front to compete with that one that beat her in class, but still a very high quality heifer. I'm going to keep the two heifers out of the second class together. Congratulations. Give them a round of applause.
And your junior champion Red Angus female goes to entry number 88, D Dad Abby Gabby, exhibited by Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas. And your reserve division champion goes to entry number 90, AMTC Princess Lena 1K1, exhibited by Marcy Harwood of Richfield, North Carolina. We'll now be ready for the selection of your grand champion Red Angus female. Again, we're ready to select your grand champion Angus female. Please note we will be selecting your bred and owned grand champion female after the selection of your grand champion. Again, we are ready to select your grand champion Red Angus female here at the 50th anniversary of the North American. I would like to take this time to reintroduce our Red Angus judge today, Mr. Ryan Johnson. Ryan is originally from Northwest Iowa. He attended South Dakota State University and graduated with a bachelor's degree in animal science. He currently resides in Mitchell, South Dakota, where he and his wife, Samantha, own and operate RJ Cattle Company. Through an extensive embryo transfer program, they raise and market around 300 show heifers and steers and around 100 bred females. They have sold cattle all across the United States and Canada, and Ryan is fortunate to evaluate the Red Angus show here at the North America. Folks in the crowd, could you please join me in giving Mr. Ryan Johnson one big round of applause for evaluating our show.
Well, over here in the Red Angus show, we haven't had a ton of numbers, but I think every one of these divisions, we've had some really high-quality females on the top end. Some of them classes were very deep. I'll go through and talk about them a little bit, and then I'll show you the two I like the best, but I just want to congratulate these exhibitors on a very nice set of females. The young lady with the heifer out of here, out of the first division, as we talked about, really captivating here from the side, very elegant through her front 1/3, big and bold in terms of her rib cage. She was wanting to fight the halter, so we didn't get just the best look at her on the move, but I think a heifer that's adequate in terms of the angles of her skeleton, just got a lot of future in her. Then the young lady out of the next division, I think that heifer's really hard to poke a hole in, so correct in the way she's designed, so striking in terms of her shoulder and neck and head, the way it ties in the top side of her shoulder, and then she's dead leveled on her top. I talked to her in that division in class. Very unique to have that kind of width and power when you step in behind her and still do it in a very attractive sound-made package. Then the young lady with the cowboy hat, the heifer that came out of that fall division, as we talked about, there's just a heifer there that you don't have to change a lot about her. You like everything about the way she balances up here from the side. You set her in motion. You like how comfortable she is off of both ends of her skeleton. And she does that with some extras and some ESTs. I think she was the biggest footed in that division, the biggest boned heifer that just balanced up very, very well. So attractive there about her head and neck, and it ties flat and smooth into her shoulder. She isn't the stoutest one when you step in behind her, but she's way more than adequate for a female. I just love her silhouette here from the side. And then our summer division, there wasn't as many females in that division, but a heifer that we used to win that division, she was probably just the soundest in terms of her skeleton. She's a big, bold-bodied, round ribcage heifer. Maybe to compete with some of these other heifers in this drive, I'd like to give her a few more of those ESTs, maybe give her a little more look there from the side, stouten her up when you step right in behind her. Still a high-quality heifer. Then the yearling heifer that comes next, one that's so big in terms of her foot size and flexible there at the ground. I like them things about her. Very attractive out of the top side of her shoulder, the way her neck shoots up there, and very elegant about her head. So we talked to her in her class and division. She maybe does want to duck her pins ever so slightly on the move, but I still think that's a very high-quality female. Then the young lady that won the last division, a heifer that we talked about, so hard to make livestock, that flexible and that stout and that wide built, and still do it in an attractive package. I just love looking at females like that, just thinking down the road how you can breed them and mate them, and just the unique animals that they have the capability of making in the future. I think just a really neat animal that's got some big, big pieces and a lot of future for that young lady. I'll look at them one more time, but I ask you to give these exhibitors a round of applause for a very competitive Red Angus show.
We get our full-blood show underway here on this side of the ring, and a young calf that comes to us with a world of future. I love this one down her spine. I love the way she handles herself in motion. Good square hipped. I think she's very appropriate in terms of her size and development at this point in the game. Excellent way to start off the show here today.
And your grand champion Red Angus female goes to entry number 88, D Dad Abby Gabby, exhibited by Morgan Jackson of Kaufman, Texas. Congratulations. And your reserve grand champion Red Angus female goes to entry number 42, T Bars Miss 5028K, exhibited by Hadley Hartman from Tecumseh, Nebraska. Congratulations.
Here's a March heifer calf over on this side of the ring as we move along through the show. Love the extension that this one brings, very long fronted. This is a female. We set her in motion. She appears to be very good at the ground, wanting to fight the young lady just a little bit. I like the rib cavity in this one. I think she'll be one when we get back out here for division. She'll be extremely competitive here. Just a nice female in our March division as we move through these calves, though.
And over in your west side of the ring here in Broadbent, we have started our full-blood Simmental Heifer show. And placings in class number 1 goes to entry number 1, Haley Ann Lynch, PBA Joanne, L618, exhibited by Haley Ann Lynch of Southwick, Massachusetts. And placings in class 2, first place goes to entry number 3, Loglen Aquamire 330L, exhibited by Caroline Jones of White Wright, Texas. Now entering the ring will be class 3 of your full-blood Simmental heifers. Again, entering the ring now is class 3. These heifers' date of birth range from January 25th through January 2nd of 2023. I would like to take this time to introduce your judge here for the Full-Blood Simmental Show, Mr. Ryan Hafner, graduate of Illinois State University. From 2007 to 18, he was the farm manager of Hudson Pines Farm of Sleepy Hollow, New York. He is a past recipient of the American Simmental Association Herdsman of the Year Award and currently lives in Clinton, Illinois, where he and his wife Megan and 2 daughters, Adley and Emery, run small herd of Simmental-based cattle. Ryan and his wife Megan own and operate Hafner Marketing LLC, offering services such as sales management, consulting, and more. If you could join me in giving Mr. Ryan Hafner one big round of applause for being here at the North American.
Just spin right in front of her. Yep. Right on there, yep. You can spin behind her. There. Well, our top pair here, I think, in the full blood show is a very close pair. Two females that are similar in their type and kind in terms of the stoutness and the power and the added muscle and the added shape that they bring to the table over our pair that's going to be third and fourth. I believe the heifer we chose to start with here, the heifer with the more red on her, I think just does so in a little more feminine manner about her. She ties her muscle pattern just a little smoother into her skeleton. She handles herself extremely well in motion. I think she's a good place to start. Here's a long-bodied female, as I said, similar in terms of type and kind, got a little added substance, just gets a nickel rounder about it and the way she ties everything together, not quite as smooth and elegant as our class winner. We switch gears here. We come into a close pair in our third and fourth. Chose to go with the heifer with a shot more growth and performance. A heifer that's long-bodied, long-spined, good look about her. Just slopes off a nickel more from hooks to pins. Like to square her up a little bit there. And just simply, when we sort these two females out, just overpowers our heifer here in fourth at this stage in the game. We just like to see a little more of this one. I think the outline's there. I think the parts and pieces are there. She just needs a little more time to keep developing. I think it'll be a good project for the young man down the road.
And placings in class number 3 of your full-blood Simmental Heifer Show are as followed. First place goes to entry number 13, Logan Danny Tovey 302L, exhibited by Logan Smith of Rowland, Oklahoma. And second place goes to entry number 7, TNT's Pilati, exhibited by Jada Peppers of Downsville, Georgia. And third place goes to entry number 12, TNT's Royalty, exhibited by Kyle Jeffrey of Dagla, Georgia. And fourth place goes to entry number 9, TNT's Marissa, exhibited by Travis Parish of Daglero, Georgia. Congratulations. Now entering will be the selection of your champion junior heifer calf.